Before we get into the hot news surrounding the Dallas Cowboys today, there's something that deserves a moment of celebration. Dak Prescott had some big personal news to share. He and his fiancée Sarah Jane welcomed their second child into the world, a baby girl named Aurora Rain. Now, let's just take a second to acknowledge how cool that name is. Seriously, Aurora Rain? That sounds like the name of a future superstar or a chart-topping artist. And for Dak, that makes 2 daughters now. So drop a big congratulations in the comments for the Prescott family. It's a beautiful moment for the quarterback and a reminder that there's more to life than football, even if just for a minute. But it's all right. Let's pivot back to the gridiron. Because while life off the field is full of joy for Dak, the rumors swirling around the Cowboys never take a break. And if you've been keeping up with the NFL gossip cycle, you already know what name is back in circulation. Kyle Pitts. Yes, again. It's like clockwork at this point. Every few months his name pops up in trade rumors, and somehow, someway, the Dallas Cowboys are always in the conversation. This time, CBS Sports mentioned Dallas among a handful of teams that could be potential landing spots for the Falcons' tight end. Let's rewind a little and lay the groundwork here. A few days ago, NFL insider Jordan Schultz reported that multiple teams have reached out to the Falcons about Kyle Pitts' availability. Now, nothing is imminent, nothing is brewing at this exact moment. But Schultz made it clear that Atlanta would need to be offered at least a day 2 draft pick just to consider it. That doesn't mean they're shopping him aggressively, but it means the door's cracked open. And you have to wonder, who benefits from this info getting out? Is it Pitts camp? Maybe trying to stir interest? Is it Atlanta testing the waters without making a formal declaration? Or is this just good reporting picking up on whispers around the league? Either way, the fact remains. Atlanta says they want to keep him, but they aren't blind to the possibility of a trade. What makes this particularly tricky is Atlanta's current depth at tight end, or lack thereof. Bound Pitts, it's a steep drop. Unless you're ready to believe Charlie Warner is ready to be a high-level starter in the NFL, the Falcons kind of need Pitts just to keep their passing game from unraveling. So yes, they're listening, but the price is going to be high complicating. Matters is the fact that Kyle Pitts wasn't seen on the field during organized team activities. Naturally, that led to speculation. Was he holding out? Was it contract related? Turns out it's a bit of a foot issue. At least that's the word from James Palmer, formerly of NFL Network. He says Pitts was inside the facility but didn't participate on the field. And honestly, that's even more concerning because now it's not a contract situation, it's an injury. And if you're a team thinking about trading for him, you have to ask yourself, do I really want to give up a day 2 pick and take on an $11 million salary for a guy with a lingering foot problem? Jeremy Fowler from ESPN added to the drama, reporting that while the Falcons aren't actively shopping him, they are open to moving him if the right offer comes in. Pitts, for his part, reportedly loves Atlanta and isn't pushing for a trade. But if he gets a chance to play in an offense that actually uses him as a featured weapon, that might be tempting. Right now, he's basically option number 3 or 4 in the Falcons scheme. That's a tough pill to swallow for someone who was once touted as a generational tight end prospect. All of this lines up with the idea that if a day 2 pick is offered, the Falcons might just bite. But let's be clear, this isn't a fire. It's hell. They're not just looking to offload him for pennies. They've already picked up his 5th-year option, which locks him in for nearly $11 million in 2025. So if they're moving on, they want something real in return. Now CBS Sports floated 3 teams as possible landing spots, including Dallas. And honestly, that one raises some eyebrows. Because when you look at the Cowboys' current tight end room, there's already a young, developing talent there in Jake Ferguson. Not only that, but they've also got Luke Schoonmaker and Peyton Hendershot, who they've invested time and reps into. So why would Dallas be interested in bringing in Pitts at this stage? Let's dig into that. Kyle Pitts' rookie year was electric. Over 1,000 receiving yards, which is borderline unheard of for a tight end in today's NFL. But since then, it's been quiet. Injuries, inconsistent quarterback play, a weird offensive system, all of it has contributed to a drop in production. He's averaged between 600 and 700 yards in the past 2 seasons, and those numbers are starting to look a lot like what Jake Ferguson's been putting up. And here's the kicker. Ferguson has actually played fewer games during that stretch. Now, of course, Pitts has a different skill set. He's a downfield threat. He can stretch the field in a way that Ferguson simply can't. But is that enough of a difference to justify giving up draft capital and paying $11 million? That's the million-dollar question. For some teams, maybe. For Dallas, with cap concerns and other holes to fill, it feels like a luxury move, not a necessity. And let's be real, this whole Kyle Pitts saga feels a lot like the conversation couples have with a marriage counselor before breakup. It's not over yet, but you can feel that something's off. Maybe things hold steady through the regular season. Maybe the Falcons see how he performs in his contract year and reevaluate closer to the trade deadline. Or maybe he walks in free agency and then Dallas or someone else swoops in without having to give up a pick. From the Cowboys' perspective, it's not just about the talent. It's about timing and cost. Right now, they don't even have a third-round pick. They're notoriously stingy with their fourth-round selections. Maybe, just maybe, if the Falcons were willing to take a fourth and Dallas saw an opportunity to upgrade the position without blowing up their cap structure, it could happen. But right now, it feels like a long shot. Speaking of long shots and potential changes, there's been a little buzz around jersey numbers. George Pickens, newly arrived and already stirring things up, has been seen wearing number 13 during OTAs. But Fanatics has his jersey listed as number 3 on pre-orders. That's interesting. Pickens is technically George Pickens III, so maybe it's a little branding play, GP3 and all that. But there's a small issue. Number 3 is currently worn by Dante Fowler. So does Pickens buy the number off him? Does Fowler switch back to a different jersey, like the number 6 he wore with Washington, which he can't use in Dallas because that belongs to Donovan Wilson? And speaking of Donovan Wilson, let's talk about him. Finally, we got some clarity on the injury that kept him out recently. Credit to Nick Harris for being the first to report that Wilson had a knee scope, a relatively minor procedure that shouldn't affect his availability for training camp. It tracks with what a lot of people suspected. He dealt with a knee issue last year, tried to push through, and probably aggravated it. So now the team's just being cautious, holding him out of OTAs, letting him recover at his own pace, and making sure he's good to go when things get real. When Wilson is on, this defense takes a leap. He's a role player who can turn into an impact guy on any given Sunday. But when he's off, missing tackles, blowing coverages, playing too aggressively, that's when things fall apart. He's a bit of a swing piece, and that makes his health and form a big deal heading into the season. Now there's been some chatter, especially post June 1st, about whether or not the Cowboys could release him to save cap space. The numbers are real. Cutting or trading Wilson now would save Dallas around $7 million. But honestly, that just doesn't make sense. The Cowboys haven't made any major additions at the safety position. Malik Hooker is still around. There's Marquez Bell and Wani Thomas. But they're young and unproven. If you're thinking of cutting Wilson, it begs the question, who are you replacing him with? Some fans have pointed to the signing of Elijah Clark and the guaranteed money he received, thinking maybe that indicates confidence in the rookie. But come on, $259,000 in guarantees isn't exactly a huge commitment. It's in line with what practice squad players get. The team can cut him tomorrow and not blink. So if Wilson's the most experienced and proven guy in the room, why cut him now? It doesn't track. The timing is off. If the Cowboys wanted to move on, they could have done it months ago, freeing up space for a splashier signing and safety. Instead, they've stood pat, which tells you they still value Wilson, at least for now. That being said, next offseason, whole different conversation. He'll be a free agent, and depending on how the year goes, the Cowboys might look elsewhere. But right now, Wilson's staying put. And speaking of post-June 1st possibilities, one of the biggest names still floating out there is Jalen Ramsey. There's growing belief around the league that the Dolphins could move him now. With the June 1st mark behind us, the financials start to make more sense. Miami would save close to $6 million in cap space with a trade. But the dead money is still substantial, and the cash owed is even heavier. Ramsey's due over $21 million this year alone. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In a surprising turn of events that has quickly stirred the NFL community, legendary wide receiver Jerry Rice, widely regarded as one of the greatest to ever play the game, made a series of candid remarks about the Dallas Cowboys that have left fans and analysts buzzing. Known for his straightforward opinions and deep knowledge of football, Rice didn't hold back as he weighed in on the Cowboys' current state, blending sharp criticisms with unexpected praise that could signal an intriguing shift in his view of America's team. During a recent interview, Rice expressed frustration with some of the Cowboys' performances this season, pointing out what he sees as recurring issues in both their offensive execution and defensive resilience. They have all the pieces, but sometimes it feels like they just don't put it all together when it counts. Rice noted, hinting at a lack of cohesion and consistency that he believes holds Dallas back from truly dominating the league. This kind of critique isn't uncommon for a team with the Cowboys' pedigree and high expectations, but coming from a player of Rice's caliber, it adds weight to the growing narrative that Dallas might be underachieving despite a talented roster. However, what has really caught the attention of fans is the surprising praise Rice offered amidst his criticism. He singled out specific players and the coaching staff for their efforts and potential, suggesting that the Cowboys have the raw talent to turn things around. The offensive weapons they have, they're among the best in the league, and I see flashes of brilliance in their game plan that remind me of what a championship team looks like, Rice said. This nuanced perspective adds fuel to rumors that the Cowboys could be on the verge of a breakthrough season, especially if they manage to iron out the kinks Rice highlighted. Rice's comments have sparked a flurry of speculation about what might be going on behind the scenes in Dallas. Is this a hint that the team is close to making key adjustments, or that some internal shifts might be underway to maximize their potential? The blend of critique and commendation from such an iconic figure has left fans wondering whether Rice's remarks are a subtle nudge toward bigger changes, or simply his way of saying the Cowboys remain a formidable force, albeit one that needs to tighten up. The buzz doesn't stop there. Some insiders suggest that Rice's remarks could influence public and media pressure on the Cowboys' front office and coaching staff, possibly accelerating decisions on personnel or strategy. After all, when a legend points out both flaws and strengths so openly, it tends to resonate beyond just a casual opinion. For Dallas fans, this might be a moment to hold on to hope, seeing Rice's words as a signal that the team's best days might still be ahead, if they can answer the call. As the Cowboys gear up for the rest of the season, all eyes will be on how they respond to this kind of spotlight from one of football's all-time greats. Whether Rice's insights translate into tangible change or remain just a talking point, one thing is clear: the chatter around Dallas just got a lot more interesting, and the rumor mill is officially in overdrive. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.